injustices that we face. Preaching helps us to keep our hope clear in mind. Hope is an anchor which stabilizes us during turbulent times. It prevents us from drifting away from Jehovah or his organization. If we continue to do all these things, we'll remain neutral regarding this world's politics. And we'll stay focused on the real solution, God's kingdom. The governing body is sharing these important reminders because Satan, the ruler of this world, is pressuring Jehovah's people like never before. The devil wants us to take sides on these issues. If we do, we are no longer neutral. We could even find ourselves taking a stand against Jehovah and against his kingdom. In effect, we could be acting as though we think the devil has the solution to our problems. Never would we want that to happen. So, dear brothers and sisters, this is a matter that requires our careful and prayerful attention. To help us keep the real solution clearly in mind, make it a priority to have a personal or family worship study project on the topic of neutrality. Here are a few ideas. In the book Scriptures for Christian Living, you could review the information about governments. To find this publication in JW Library, go to the Library tab, then Publications, then Books. Another idea is to review the October 2023 Watchtower study article entitled, Are You Ready to Obey? The March 2019 edition of JW Broadcasting had an excellent discussion about neutrality. To find this in JW Library, go to the Library tab, then Video, JW Broadcasting, and then look under Monthly Programs. Or on jw'org, search for March 2019 broadcast. Of course, on jw'org, if you search neutrality, you'll find many other helpful videos and articles. We can be sure that Jehovah's heart rejoices to see millions of people from all nations of the earth united in worshiping him, remaining neutral, and declaring the real solution to mankind's problems, the good news of God's kingdom. Brothers and sisters, please know that we love you all very much. From the world headquarters of Jehovah's Witnesses, this is JW Broadcasting.
Namely, can the opposition party win? Will they keep their promises to lower income people? And what changes could we expect on required military service? You'll want to hear the answers. Let's begin by speaking to John McCarthy, Minister of Education.
If put to the test, I do want to take my stand for Jehovah, but the outcome of all these things can affect me now, my family, my goals. How can I stay neutral, even in my heart? John 17, verse 14. I have given your word to them, but the world has hated them, because they are no part of the world, just as I am no part of the world. I do not request that you take them out of the world, but that you watch over them because of the wicked one. They are no part of the world, just as I am no part of the world. Sanctify them by means of the truth. Your word is truth. Just as you sent me into the world, I also sent them into the world. And I am sanctifying myself in their behalf, so that they also may be sanctified by means of truth. No part of the world, like Jesus, both in thought and action.
Sure, but in our lifetime?
Yes, and I have found something that has helped me to be sure of this. Can I share it with you? It's here in Matthew 24:33. Jesus said, Likewise, also you, when you see all these things, know that he is near at the doors.
Claim that they are not political and they're nothing to do with United Nations. But here we've got the UN Human Rights Committee defends Jehovah's Witnesses' rights to hold meetings. This was dated May the 28th, 2021. So why then are Jehovah's Witnesses using human rights from United Nations if they're not political, if they're not involved with the governments, they're non-political? They said they were not part of the UN, and the UN said that they were, and everyone else said, oh, it's fake news. But this is the UN's committee that defends religious rights, and Jehovah's Witnesses are using it as one of their, because of persecution. I think this is the Guardian newspaper, and it's talking about Jehovah's Witnesses linked to being members of United Nations, and talking about it's hypocritical because it believes that God will destroy this organisation of United Nations and that it's of Satan the devil. It's an evil organisation. But we've seen that it's used it for persecution. It's used the agency regarding the UN to get it to speak out. It's used it in its remembrance of persecution of the war of Jehovah's Witnesses in Nazi camps, and also that it was a member listed on United Nations list. And this is basically reporting the hypocrisy of the Watchtower from lying basically that it was not a member of the UN. So it's not apostates saying it, it's not apostates stirring it up, it's the press telling the truth about the Watchtower.